It says we are now live, so I presume we are now live. Hello, I am John. Welcome to Back to Brick. This is Stones with the Lego Technique. We're here on what is a Thursday afternoon in Portland, Oregon area, I guess. In the Oregon upper northwest. What's up, Carter? Welcome in. Hello, everyone. It is Thursday, Oregon coast, 4 o'clock, time for school. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hello, Mr. Brickster. Hello, everyone. I am John with Back to Brick. We're here to do a little Don't Sweat the Lego Technique with Matthias, the gentleman that's right there, MB Mox. Hello, Marcus. Welcome in, sir. Yes, we're going to have another fun episode today. We're going to learn Studio. I got my laptop here ready to go. I've been cracking away myself. Hello, hello. Working on homework. We're about to do some homework here. I brought up the laptop today because I've been cracking away myself on some studio designs. I opened up the Back to Brick. I asked folks if they'd be interested, if they'd be interested. Hello, Matthias. If they would be interested in us doing some reviews. What's up, Jacob? Hi, buddy. And people seemed interested in that. So I'm starting to do reviews now, and I know that Garrett's going to be doing them as well. I'm doing my first ever studio build based off of instructions, like building in studio off of instructions. And the gentleman that just popped in here, right here, UPV, Adnan, has been helping me find some elements that I have been unable to find. I can't tell you the review I'm working on. It's a heavy duty one though. It's pretty awesome. The techniques are pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about it. And of course, I'm a little slow on the uptake, so it's gonna take a little while for me to get the review out. But once I get through this one, I have every confidence in the world that I'll be a little bit swifter. So thank you. Background, yeah. Look, I had to put up a big old base plate there to block out some of the sun, if you've noticed. Yeah, and it's clearly not big enough, but right now in the afternoon here, the sun is blazing through here. So yeah, we're here for what is it, episode? I've lost count. Thank you, sir. You helped me so much. I'm banging my head on the keyboard and getting ready to throw my laptop through a window, and you helped me so much. I appreciate it. It really helped my build. I wouldn't have been able to really get past much else. So anyways, yes, we're going to learn more about that today with Matthias. He started us down that path a couple episodes ago, continued it out. Hello, Mr. Brickster. Yes, I appreciate you being in and out, a little lurking today. You're more than welcome to lurk. Lurk away. Please do. Matthias is going to walk us through a little bit more, and I'm going to be paying even closer attention today. Not that I haven't been before. And I'm also going to go back and watch. As painful as it is for me to watch my my own self on video, because I really don't watch them ever. I hate seeing it. I hate seeing it in the timelines. I hate posting it. If you notice in the stories, I post things over my face, and when I post them after the shows, I try to post it so that there's things that covering my face. Not all the times. I try now to do one of these things. Almost everyone, so that I can get a face coverage, but I'm not successful. Sometimes you can't capture it on Instagram. So, but I'm going to go back and watch these episodes that I've already done with Matthias, because there's so many things that I wrote down and that I know that I need to go revisit, because even watching him go through it a little bit more explicitly on the video is going to help me get through a lot of what it is I'm working on currently. So, timely stuff, Matthias. You ready to do it? Let's get into it. I hate seeing. I really do. And coming from someone who used to be a radio DJ and someone who did host a TV show at one point, it's really a bad trait to hate hearing and seeing yourself. So, so let's get Matthias in here. There he is. More because I've been struggling this week, man. I have been struggling this week. Are we gonna? Oh, there he is. There he is. Cool.
We go.
What is up, brother?
Say something, John.
John.
Yeah, perfect. I hear you. So for some reason, whenever I'm joining, the headset gets disabled, but then I plug it out and in again, and then everything's fine.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is Instagram actually sent out a survey to some, they said specific accounts or whatever. What's up, Jack? I'm sure it's to just about every account out there, but they were asking what the little tweaks we would find in Instagram that we'd like to see, you know, kind of upped. Live was certainly something we drove home. What's up, Lewis? He's coming in and out right on. So how are you doing, Matthias?
Yeah, I'm great over here. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing all right. I'm keeping my head above water. That's all that one can ask.
I'm glad to hear that my little tips and tricks are helping you during your daily work.
They are. I mean, now that you know, because I'm doing. I don't know if you've been keeping up, but I've been doing this digital builds from I can't name who it is right now because it's secret. But I've been doing this digital build, this review, and it's man, it's been kicking my butt.
John, I was thinking whether I should submit something for you to review as well.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
what about the wobbly one?
That would be amazing. But I'm all biased on that, though. I'd have to have Garrett take care of that.
Yeah,
It's
that works as well.
yeah, it's well, Garrett, of course. I mean, yeah, yeah, Garrett's just as good, if not better. I have so much bias. It's difficult because a lot of people that are wanting to submit for reviews or for certain things, it's just like I have such a person, like whether they're the best builder in the world or whether they barely put together 3 bricks, you know, it's tough to step away from that, you know, and it's just like, oh, you have so much passion and you're so into this, but it's really cool. It's really interesting to see the instructions, the way that they're put together prior to them being released. And man, it's going in and finding all of these elements is a real mind melter.
Oh yeah.
Have you built from instructions
Not in studio, no, not yet.
oh God, it's tough, man.
But what I'm really considering trying out is trying to do an alternative build of some model within Bricklink Studio. So to load the brick palette of a given official Lego model and then try to come up with another build based on the parts that are available. I think I might try that at some point.
That's awesome. That would be great because actually, here's Jack. Jack was talking to me earlier today. He's the guy that helped. He put together the QR code and the registration form for the Brick Bazaar.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and that's what I
Oh
was just.
right, I still have to register for that.
No rush. We've got some time. But the one thing I was going to say, I want to do the rebrickable like contest challenge in there. I want to do it where people submit their whatever set, say it's the Coliseum, Home Alone, or whatever, rebrick it, and whoever the best
Oh.
rebrick or fan favorite of the rebrick.
Yeah, that's awesome. I already thought that something like that would be really cool.
Awesome. I love it. Well, I consider you registered, but I'll take it officially as well. Um,
All right.
um, but no, I really have been learning a lot from these. I've been and Adnan's been helping out quite a bit. And like I said, I'm going to go through and check out these previous 2 episodes to even hone my skills even a little bit more because using the hotkeys I'm finding, I'm like, oh, because the whole WASD thing, which I had to ask about before because I'm not a gamer, and I
Yeah.
man, that opened up my world so much.
Yeah, those are the little tricks that really boost your effectivity.
Really does. It makes it a little bit more efficient. Those are things that I didn't know when I'm working on my own mocks that are a couple hundred, if not thousand pieces, and those little tips would have been really useful. And I'm sure if I
Mhm.
could have Googled them, watched Tiago give me a little breakdown of Bricklink if I was smart enough. But now here we are talking about it, and this is how I figured it out. And it's from you and from Adnan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, perfect.
So what do you got for us today? You got rendering today.
Exactly. So for today, the whole thing is going to be a little bit less structured than during the last times and a bit more improvised. I think I'll just show which settings there are, what I have experience with, what I know about it, and then maybe also leave some room for questions if people want to know some more specific things. We can try to go into more detail there if I am able to provide more information on those things.
Sounds good to me, sir. The floor is yours.
All right, then let me switch my camera again.
Hi, by the way, everyone. This is Matthias, MB Mox. That's his page right there. Give it a follow.
Change the
Up there.
light.
See that thing? Hit that boom. Follow. He's a brilliant
All right,
designer.
then
He won Tiny Masters season 1. Season 2 is coming to a close here on the 31st. Did you enter?
no, not this time. Not this time.
Oh,
Maybe
you
season three
feel as
again.
though as the reigning champion, it's not your place to come back in.
The thing is,
What's up,
I
Luca?
really want to have some time for my other projects, and the Tiny Masters contest really ate up a lot of my
Sure,
Lego time.
sure. Hey, Eric,
Okay,
ready when
I
you
think
are,
this
sir.
should be good enough.
It looks. Did you change your orientation? It looks a little wider. Looks,
No, it didn't change anything.
hmm,
I
looks.
think it is pretty much the same as last time.
I complain not.
All right, then let me try to watch what's going on my phone screen as well, which is a little bit difficult.
So,
If
but
I
for
could.
those of you that have missed, Matthias, in this first couple episodes, has walked us through the basics of Studio, getting your build started, um, kind of placement of bricks in Studio when you haphazardly place on top of it, when you can use the collision and the connect. Oh, there he's getting ready to pull it up.
Yeah, I did make it a little bit less wide. Then I can move the phone a little closer to the screen and I see what's going on the phone screen as well. That makes it easier for me.
Yeah, I'm in the world of where I've got the split screen of directions and Studio going, and it is a mind.
All right, now I think we should be all set up. And again, like the last times, if there's any questions or comments, Sean, you will redirect them to me, please.
Sure will, sir.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And yeah, so I thought we can go ahead and start out with this build that might be familiar to some viewers already because we talked about it during the last episodes already. The Kame house here, yeah, nice little build. And just take a look what we can do if we want to create a rendering for this. So if we, for example, take a look what it might look like in the end, I have the current result here. There we go. So this is what I came up with by creating the rendering and putting in the background. And now let's take a look what we can do and which settings we have available and what we can do to make a nice picture from our ready Lego model in the studio here. So yeah, we want to go to the render option in the main menu. I hope that everyone can see where we are.
I see where you're.
And then we're getting this render image menu here. And you can see currently we're pretty much out of focus. In this window on the left side here, you have the preview basically of what is going to be in the picture. And you have a button in the upper right corner to basically recenter everything if it's strange or out of frame. So I just click here and then it puts everything right in the center again. And then the controls here are very much similar to the camera controls in the build mode. So just like when I'm building in Studio, I can also use the left mouse button here to move the camera around and the right mouse button to turn it. And I think I have to switch back here to the default settings. Let's start from here. Okay, so yeah, this is what we have. So the easiest thing is just to try to put it in the center, find an angle that you like and a distance, something like this, for example. And yeah, that would be the first thing. The other thing is down here on the bottom, you have the image resolution that you can enter here. And I usually, for when I'm creating images for Instagram, I usually just use the 1000 by 1000 pixels. Of course, you can choose anything you'd like.
You have 1000 by 1000. I have 1080 by 1080.
that yeah, I don't know. It's kind of random that I chose 1000 by 1000. I'm not sure if there's one's better or the other, or if Instagram even has an official image resolution. Do
Yeah,
you know that?
mine doesn't even have like 1000 by 1000. It has 1080 by 1080. So I'm wondering, does that have anything to do with measurement at all?
Was it your presetting when you just opened it in Studio?
It's yeah. I mean, I've got all those options.
Are you here? No, preset. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I see. I usually went from preset to custom here and then just entered any
Okay.
resolution.
Gotcha. Okay. Want to
But
make
yeah, you're right. In the preset, there's a 1080 by 1080,
okay.
and of
Gotcha.
course you can use those as well. I think it makes a little difference what you really take here. And so yeah, when I'm creating a rendering for Instagram, I usually try to take at least 1000 by 1000. Of course,
Right.
you can go higher. For
Take a.
example, if you also upload it at some other platforms like Flickr or something that
Mhm.
allow higher resolutions than Instagram, then yeah, feel free to go as high as you'd like. And also, of course, you can choose widescreen resolutions or portrait mode or whatever fits your work of art. Yeah, for Instagram, as probably most of you know, it's just always rectangular, no, not rectangular, but quadratic images.
It's not the funnest. Let's just say
um,
it makes for a very frustrating post sometimes.
yeah, so what I
Take
do is
here
just
saying 1080 by 1080. So is Marcus for Instagram, and Adnan saying 1350 by 1080 up to potentially on Instagram.
all right. Yeah, I didn't even know that. So yeah, feel free
We're
to
all
choose
learning as we go.
choose
That's
that.
what it's all about.
Yeah, so and the other thing I do is when I'm just trying some things out and want to see what might look nice, then I will go for a lower resolution because of course the higher resolution you choose, the longer the rendering will take. And the other thing that will have an effect on the render time is not only the resolution, but at the very top of the right menu, you also have the render quality.
Right.
And there's three presettings: medium, high, and very high. But in the end, the only thing that counts is what is then entered down here in the field where you have the samples number. And for
Mhm.
example, if you choose medium, it will be set to 128. If you choose high, it will be 256, and very high will be 512. Again, if I am rendering something for uploading to Instagram, I usually choose the very high option just to get the best result. But to be really honest, I think that this setting makes, yeah, not a very noticeable difference. So to the naked eye, I would say you cannot really tell much of a difference, or at least maybe I don't have a trained enough eye to see that difference.
Between high and very high.
Even between medium and very high, I would say.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
if
Even
you
even
if
between
you
that.
if you if you put them right next to each other or jump back and forth from one or the other, then yeah, you might get a little bit better details, of course, in the very high because I think the sampling size is just higher. But yeah, as I said, to my untrained eye, if you show me the medium size and then show me the very high with maybe a minute in between or something, I probably won't be able to tell you which is which. Or it will be difficult. Let's keep it at that.
Let's see here. It matters more for luminous trans and chrome bricks. Yeah, I only do high
Hmm.
now,
Hmm.
but all my renders are medium. Ooh, we've go.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
exactly.
gonna have a render
And
war.
so what I even do if I'm just trying stuff out, I also go to the custom setting here, and then I even put only 64 samples, so half what the medium presetting would be. Even half of that is what I use for trying stuff out, because I don't have the best computer here, so yeah, rendering takes a while from me. And if I just want to compare 3 or 4 settings and to see which one I like best, I go with usually maybe 400 by 400 pixels or 500 by 500. That's usually big enough to get an impression. And then, yeah, choose the custom setting and go down to 64 samples. But yeah, do whatever you like and whatever your computer is capable of doing. I just go low for getting a first impression, and then when I know what I like best, then that's what I take. And then yeah, I usually do a very high for uploading. But yeah, as the others said, it's probably not even necessary to go for the very high option here.
This is
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
like
I have not.
getting out on this menu here. Sorry. I'm getting a little. I'm doing what I did in school, and I'm totally just hitting all different kinds of.
Yeah, so I have not even prepared comparison images here because, as I said, I think the difference is not that large. But for the next setting we have here in the menu, which is the background and light setting, here it's getting a little bit more interesting. And this is where I've also prepared some comparison images for us to take a look at. And so the first thing you will see here is you can choose between a solid background and a transparent background. And as you can see, if you choose the solid background, you can select any color you like for the background, one single color, or with the transparent background, it will just stay transparent in the image, and you can then use any image editing software and add the background you like in post-processing. And so if I am
Now,
rendering something,
does that add any time to the render at all?
I I don't know. I don't think it makes a big difference, if any at all.
Okay.
But what I do, I prefer usually the transparent option here because I like to add my backgrounds afterwards in post-processing because it gives me a little bit more freedom. I don't just have one single color in the background. Although maybe let's take a quick look at the difference here.
Please let.
Again, if I open the result here, what I've done here, you can see I didn't add one single background color, but I added a gradient here from a darker blue to a lighter blue. And I will show you a result that used the solid background option as well, if you're interested what that might look like.
Sure am, bud.
This is what I've used for the Polar Express here. And what you will see here is, even though it's a solid background, it's not all one color. So for example, here you see there's some shadows on the floor. And if you use these light options that we will get into a little bit later in today's episode, then this can also lighten or brighten up the background color in some spaces. So this might give interesting results as well. But for my normal posts, as I said, I prefer the transparent background, and then I will add in any background that I like. And what I usually do here, that's something I can also show you already.
Yeah, Adnan's saying here he feels like the trans does take longer to render, especially with floor shadow. That makes sense now that you said shadow.
Maybe.
When you pointed out the shadowing, that made a ton more sense when you said that. So, and of course you weren't on transparent at that point, but it makes more sense when you think. So.
I don't think I've ever tried the floor shadow, but maybe I should try it sometime because it might give a more realistic feeling, or it might ground the model more in the image in the end if you have a floor shadow. Otherwise, if you take a look at
I wonder if when you get to this point and when you're adding this background and when you're playing around with different, whether it's transparent or whether it's different colors or fades or whatever, do you find different things along while you're doing this build? You're like, oh my God, okay, maybe I would need to change this part of the build
now. I think very rarely. Usually when I'm doing this, I'm at a point where I'm happy enough with the build, and if I do, I will show you in my process. It's also not the biggest deal. The only thing you'll have to do is you will have to do a re-render, of course, if you change something in the build. But what I highly recommend is, for example, let's go back to our render settings here. If we found a setting that we are happy with, so for example, the camera angle and also the light settings, for both of them, you have these drop-down selects here. And what you can do here is you can store the current settings as a default setting. And I rarely do this for the background and light settings because those are usually not that complex for me. I'm usually not far off of the normal defaults here, so I remember those pretty easily. But as you can see here for the camera setup, I have a lot of settings stored here already because that makes it easier. If I do find out I need to change something in the build, I've stored the camera angles and everything, and I just have to load the setting I stored before again, and I have exactly the same angle again in the rendering as before, just with the updated model.
And that's something that came up actually last night. Hello, Lego Markman. Um, Kate was talking about how she had her mosaics on an angle. You know how they were kind
Hmm.
of more. And she
Hmm.
said Tim knew how to snap that back or get it out. Is that something you automatically work on an angle, or is that something that I don't understand how she was stuck that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure for a mosaic might be a little different because you have here in the camera setup. If we're going ahead to this step now, you can change between the perspective setting and the orthographic setting. The orthographic setting, you will just be able to choose. Um, I think this one is without the perspective, and for a mosaic, this might be what you want to just
And
get
it,
this top-down view, for example, without any perspective applied at all. But for a three-dimensional model, yeah, you
right.
probably want to stick to a perspective view.
And it might have been also
And
because she was in. And now that I think about it, we were going back and forth between Photo Bricks and Mosaic Maker, Studio Bricklink
okay.
Mosaic
Mhm.
Maker. So it might have been actually in Photo Bricks at that point. So hey,
Mhm.
what's up, B?
Mhm. But yeah, so I, of course, usually for a three-dimensional model, you have some kind of camera angle where you see multiple sides at the same time. And yeah, also when I found an angle that I'm happy with, I just store the camera settings. And then when I later change something in the model and come back to make a new render, I, I usually the same setting is still applied, or if it's not, then you can restore it, and you will get the exact same view, same angle, same perspective, just with the updated model.
And the build to give preset is just basically you just freestyling, and then you can decide you maybe eventually make that default eventually, right?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Like where it says because it has the build to give preset or default setting in the default settings. Um,
Ah, yeah.
the build to give preset is that your I mean I'm taking it almost literally is that you're building freestyle and then if you really fall in love with it, that's something that you could make your default or whatever.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Quentin. Thanks so much, buddy. Does that sound about
Yeah.
right or no?
I mean, I just play around here. I turn it and upside down and try to figure out which angle I like best. And then when I found something that, yeah, pleases my eye, then I usually save the setting I currently have.
Sounds
Is
about
that
right.
what you meant, or
I
did
think
you
so.
mean something different?
I think so. I think we just had different verbiage about it.
Okay, okay. All right. So yeah, what I wanted to show with the backgrounds, I wanted to give one other example. Um, Yeah, now I showed the Polar Express, that was the solid background,
Mhm.
and then the transparent background. And one thing that I also like about this transparent background.
Sorry, and I just said I thought Build to Give was some promotion when Studio came out. That's great. Because it like what is it? Isn't it Build to Give the whole Lego hashtag Build to Give when you build
I
this?
have to admit, I'm not sure what it's really about. I think you build something and Lego makes some donation or something, but
Yeah,
I'm not really
that's
sure.
yeah. I wonder. So is that? I'm confused now. Now Adnan, you got in my head now twice.
Okay, one thing I wanted to show that I like about the transparent background is it also helps me tie multiple posts together that belong to the same theme, basically. So, for example, if we take a look at my Snow White posts here. Okay, let's take a look just
Oh yeah,
on my
yeah,
page here. So if you take a look at my page here, so those posts are all from, yeah, the same build or same theme, or from the Snow White build I did for the finale of the Tiny Masters. And so I just used the same background for all the posts here.
Right.
And yeah, this helps visually group them together so that you see on the first look that yeah, these images belong together somehow. And of
Right.
course, you could just use the same background color if you go with a solid background as well. But I like the way it looks with some other background in behind them.
So now, um, do you with to doing that you have so you so are you're selecting still solid color, but messing with
What I do is I take the transparent setting here.
okay.
And as I said before, I usually also don't use this floor shadow, but maybe I should try it because if we take a look at this picture here, it kind of looks like it's floating in the air because it doesn't have any shadows at all.
Which
So
is
that
kind of nice about it as well, though.
yeah, it's its own aesthetic, you could say. But yeah, I just haven't ever tried it out, and maybe I should because maybe it
If you
might look
click floor
even better.
floor shadow on it right now, does it do anything to it?
If you use the floor shadow, then I think it still has the transparent background, but with some more or less solid black parts where the
What's
shadows would be cast from the model, I think.
But would it do anything to yours right now, currently, or is it? Oh, it's because it's rendered. You can't really do it.
Yeah, this is rendered already, so I cannot show what that would look like. But I have prepared something else that we can take a look at,
Oh, cool.
and
Oh,
this is
Remington.
about
By the way, this is
the other.
Matthias, or well, hit him up here. MB Mox. Follow. That's him down there. I was pointing at his name.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, that's his voice out there.
Yeah, you can hear me, but you can't see me. And because you mentioned it before, John, I don't have a problem with looking at my own face, but I also it's also always strange to hear my own voice in the
Yeah,
recordings.
it's so strange. I gotta remember to do that. Thank you for reminding me. I gotta put up one of your builds so that I have a screen of not my face.
But you have a handsome face, John. Don't worry about it.
I wasn't finished, but I appreciate that.
Okay, so what we could look at next, we have these background and light settings here, and Adnan just posted that there's no preview for the shadow and light settings here. So here in the preview window, you just see the perspective and the camera angle, but you don't see how it will change depending on the light settings there. Thank you very much, John.
I'm just showing what it's based off of. Also.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also something that I like. If since you mentioned it, I will go back here for a moment.
I'm giving away my trade secrets. No one realizes that I hold. Some of the times I hold up the phone just so. And then the thing is when you go to post it, it doesn't like you hope that when you're scrolling to find the images to post, sometimes it doesn't capture the one where you have it. So that's why I held it for so long.
Oh, yeah. So what I wanted to mention, since you mentioned it, what I like also when I'm selecting the background for my posts is what I usually do, if we go to the post here, I make it so you can swipe here between the Lego model and the original picture that inspired the build. And so when I put it like this, then I usually select a background that fits the source image or whatever it's called. So for this, basically, I just went here in GIMP, and I'm working with GIMP because I don't have Photoshop. Don't judge me about it.
So you use GIMP? Okay, well, because I'm talking to a lot of different people who are using image softwares, and Adnan was talking about Photoshop,
Yeah,
GIMP.
I actually learned a bit of Photoshop during my studies at the university, but yeah, I don't have a Photoshop version and I don't intend to buy one. And for most of what I'm doing, GIMP is good enough.
And
And so
GIMP, so GIMP is the free version essentially, right? Yeah, there we go. And of course,
yeah, it's free
as
and
it
open
brings
source,
more, of
exactly.
course.
And yeah, and what I did
Always.
here is I just took the image that I was going off, and then I selected two of the colors directly from this image with the, I don't know what the tool is called in English, the tool where you can extract the color from an image. And then I used those two colors for the gradient background. So then when you put them next to each other here in the same post, they, yeah, go together well. I did it for the other posts as well. If we take a look here at this one, for example, with a dark blue background, that's because the source image had this dark cloudy sky in the background, for example.
Marcus says GIMP is as good as Photoshop.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, and now where were we? Let
By the
me
way,
get
Marcus,
back.
I went to the mailbox today. I haven't seen anything. Sorry.
Are you waiting for a mail, John?
Well, Marcus has been kind enough apparently to send me something in the mail, and it's coming from far over
Oh, interesting.
your neck of the woods. Well,
Oh,
a
okay.
country over, I guess.
Okay, so now I teased that I have prepared some comparison pictures, so let's maybe take a look at those next. And if we are talking about this background and light settings, you will see that there's quite a lot of different options that you can choose from. For the lighting, there's 5 different settings that you can choose, and the names don't, in my opinion, they don't say very much about what it's going to look like. So you have the first one that's called building, then the next one is called mechanic, the third one is asteroid. How is it pronounced? Asteroid? Say it again.
Asteroid.
Asteroid, okay.
Yeah.
And then you have dawn and piazza.
I thought that said
And
pizza first, and I'm like, yes, please. Always pizza.
pizza. Okay, and then after selecting this basic option, you also can change the direction from which the light is coming.
So
But yeah,
I was saying hi to Ori. You know Ori.
yeah, sure. Hi there. But one thing that I can already mention here, I have never ever changed the light direction when rendering with Studio because the presetting with the left front light and the zero rotation has always worked out for me. So there never was a reason to change this setting at all.
So you
Maybe
don't.
there are other people who already know some reasons for it, but I've never had a situation where I would have needed it.
Adnan's saying he doesn't have those options.
Oh, Adnan, maybe you need to switch from the solid background to the transparent background because in the
Oh,
solid one there's apparently only building and mechanic.
they have it in
And
solid
in
too.
yeah, I don't know why they are different
There
actually.
was an update on Studio the other day, so maybe an update potentially.
I think this had already had me confused in the past as well. But in the solid color background, you just have building and mechanic options here. And if you go to the transparent background, you suddenly get 3 more options. I don't know why they are not available in
Oh
the
yeah,
solid
okay,
background
yeah.
mode.
You're 100% correct. I
Hmm.
apologize. Yeah. I
Yeah.
just had to switch this out. Yeah. I
Okay.
hope you guys are following. Hey, you just opened the Adnan's world.
Okay. And so what I have prepared now is just some different rendered images based on this same model with exactly the same camera settings, but just with the different light settings. And as I said before, I didn't change the light direction or anything. It's just once with this building, mechanic, asteroid, dawn, and piazza mode. And so I can give you an impression of what the difference of those looks like. So let's go ahead and take a look at this.
You're not a pro renderer if you don't scratch your pieces.
Yeah, I will be getting to that. So this is the building mode, and I'm just going to walk through these pictures now and tell you what the light setting was. And yeah, we can take a look together if we can figure out what it really means, because as I said before, the names don't really say much about it. So yeah, we can just take a look at the result and see whether we can make any sense of it. So this is the building mode. And I would say this is the normal one, the one I usually use, which gives the, I don't know, most natural result where the light is just coming somewhere from the front. And yeah, for my untrained eye again, or for my impression, it's the normal mode. And then the other ones, the next one is the next one. For some reason, it won't let me go to the next one.
God, I love being back in school.
So the next one here is the mechanic option. And why can I not slide through these? I upgraded to Windows 11 last week, and now I think this photo viewing app still has some bugs in Windows 11 because I can't slide through the photos like I usually would.
Maybe I won't update yet.
Yeah. Let's try it here again.
Tell me I need to update.
Yeah, now that looks better. Now we can switch through it. So here we go. Now this is again the building mode, and this is the mechanic mode. So if we compare those two, we can see the first thing, the most apparent one, is that in the mechanic mode, the light seems to be a bit dimmer. It's not as bright. If we compare it again to the building mode, this one, the brighter one is the building, and the bit darker one is the mechanic one.
So the darker one is the mechanic.
The darker one is the mechanic, and I'm not sure, maybe we also have a bit less reflections, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Yeah, as I said, I can just show you the results.
The trees. When you go to the you don't lose them completely, but they get white. They get washed out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you also have this setting in Studio for the light intensity. So if you like the basic look of the mechanic mode, of course, you could increase the intensity and then get a bit more light in there again. But yeah, I'm not
just
sure.
diffused.
It looks a bit less dynamic, I would say. The difference between the sides of the house where the light hits it and where the shadow is, I think there's a bit less difference between it, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I've never used the mechanic mode actually.
It does play games with the eyes.
Okay. If anyone else has something, UVPUP, Ednan, it's not darker necessarily, just a diffused light. Okay, that makes sense. So the mechanic one is more diffused light. Okay, thank you very much, Ednan. Keep the information coming if you know more about this than me.
We're gonna have you both just teaching episodes.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Great.
Okay, then the next setting is the asteroid setting, and from what I've understood is that here the light is coming more from the top down instead of from the front. That's my feeling again. But again, I'm not an expert on those modes, and don't know for sure. So Edmund, if you know, keep us updated.
No, but if you look at your shadows. Look at your shadows on the asteroid. You definitely are losing the shadows off the trees onto the water.
Yeah, and the reflections also a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the brighter spots are definitely more on the top now. So yeah, I think the light is here coming more from up and going down. And then the next one is the dawn setting. And here, from what I can tell, again, the light is maybe again coming a bit more from up. And it also looks like the color of the light seems different. The colors appear a bit brighter, maybe.
Hey, Jada.
I think that the light color is a bit different here.
So Ori and Jacob here are kind of piggybacking a couple questions here. Ori's saying, "I'd love to hear your thoughts on rendering with transparent background options and make it look as best," which is kind of what you were doing here a little bit earlier.
I will get into this right after we finish this comparison of the 5 settings. Then I will go into my preferences.
Okay, and then Jacob says, "What would work best with white bricks on white bricks?"
Okay, I'm not sure I can give a good opinion on that one, but we will see.
Okay.
Okay, we have one more to look at, which is the
What's up, Patrick?
Piazza one. And the Piazza one, from what I can tell, the Piazza and the asteroid ones
Good night,
are
Marcus.
very similar. And just when I look at the Piazza result, it looks just like
Good night, Jack.
basically just like the asteroid result, but with more light. And I've even tried it, played around with it. If I choose the asteroid setting and increase the light intensity to, I don't know, 1.5 times what I had with the Piazza setting, they looked completely identical to me. So I'm not 100% sure if there's any other differences, but I have one idea which might be a difference, and let me show this to you.
Is
If
anyone else hearing
we
steroid when he says asteroid?
Yeah, maybe I should work on my English
No, I
pronunciation
think
there.
it's making me chuckle every time I'm like a 5-year.
Uh, take a look at this. And this image I rendered with the Piazza setting. And John, just let me know if you see something that might look interesting or strange to you in this image.
Oh boy. Hold on.
I'll
Interesting.
give you a hint. If you don't see it, then I'll give you a hint.
Okay. Did you say them? Now I feel like you're giving things away.
No, because what you can see here, I think you only get this with the Piazza setting. And I give you a hint. Take a look at the reflections in the image.
That's what I'm looking at. So the reflections off the top, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I see some texture in those reflections.
I'm not sure the camera on my phone is good enough to really pick it up. Maybe if I zoom in again, maybe this helps. Can you see what's in the reflection there?
Is that the building?
Yeah, that's the building. So I think that's why it's called Piazza. There's really like it's on a main square or
Yeah.
town square with the buildings around it. And if you have some reflective pieces, then this will show up in your reflections here.
Yeah, I knew there was some texture there. Okay, I can see. Yes, totally. It looks
So
exactly like a building
So
reflecting.
maybe that's also the difference between the asteroid setting and the Piazza setting. Maybe there's different textures they use for the reflections that are created here.
That looks really great. You really tried to say asteroid that time.
Yeah. Apart from that, if we don't care about those reflections and just focus on the main image, as I said before, we are
Adnan's one with that image with the dome. Did you try all of the settings with the dome before you came to the asteroid or the Piazza?
okay. Let's get back into my preferences because, as I said, from the main result, I found the asteroid and the Piazza setting to be so similar that I actually never use the asteroid setting. But if I want to have this effect of the light coming from the top down, then I use the Piazza setting. And otherwise, if I want basically normal lighting from the front or from the side more, then I use the building setting. So this one, if I want the more, I don't know, natural result or studio setting, where you would have a light with
I think
that
Adnan's
will
probably.
point on the model. And yeah, if I have something like this dome I showed you before, which would be somewhere outside where the sun might be coming from above, then I might use the Piazza setting instead. So I usually only use those two and very rarely any of the other settings. Depending on if I want it to look more like a Lego model that's been photographed on the table, basically, then I'll go with the building setting. If I want more of the feeling that it's a scene in broad daylight with the sunlight from above, then I'll go with the Piazza setting. Did that
Yeah.
answer the question? What exactly was the question again, John?
Oh, he was wondering if you had tried all the settings with the dome where you had the Piazza.
No,
Function.
usually like probably like I said, those two, the building and the Piazza, and then I found the Piazza setting, yeah, to please my eyes more and go with that one.
Well, it makes sense to go along with that. And then he says, then he goes to say, now I'm curious with what the reflections on the other settings are. And Jacob said,
Yeah.
me too. So now I believe that you will have both of them up for the remainder of the evening, going through all of their old renders or studios.
And looking for the reflection specifically.
Well, I know Jacob just said he uploaded the helmet today. So I think
Ah, great.
so
I'll have to check that out.
yeah, I got to check that out as well. Yeah, it did. And
Okay. And was it Ori before who said if there's no scratches, then we're not doing it right?
yeah, that was Ori.
Because I've prepared images for that as well, of course. Let me
Yeah.
show you what that looks like. Or let me first show you the settings in Studio that you can use to achieve this effect. On the very bottom of this right menu here, you have the material effects. And one thing you can do here, you can decide whether you want to have the Lego logo on the studs of your pieces. So if you don't want it to look like Lego, but generic bricks, you can turn off the Lego logo.
Where did you have that? Wait, where is that again?
On the very bottom of this menu, if you scroll down on the right side, there's the material effects.
Wait, hold on a second. Where am I at?
Here we
Oh my
have
God,
on
you
the
can
top-
scroll through the menu.
Yeah.
Add on. You know this?
Yeah, always use your mouse wheel. So yeah, the
I'm
first
crying.
setting here is the first setting here is whether you want to have the Lego logo on your studs, and then you can also enable and disable both UV degradation and scratches separately from each other. You can also input some strength settings, so how severe those effects should be or how strong those effects should be. And I have just made two pictures with the default setting for each of those, and both with the building light setting. So this is what the building looks like without any of those effects. And then if we take a look at the same lighting, but with the UV degradation, then this is what we will get. And you can see it's similar, a bit similar to the mechanic setting. So it also looks like the light is a bit softer. But I think that's the reason, because actually the brick surface is not as shiny anymore now. So it will not look as shiny anymore if you have this UV degradation turned on. Can you see difference on the camera? I hope so.
Yes, absolutely. I'm looking at it, and yeah, 100%. Add on so you can see my mind blowing in real time.
Okay,
I didn't know, man. I don't. I literally, 2 hours ago, I ordered a mouse, a Bluetooth mouse.
Yeah.
Because the touchpad's just not doing it for me.
Yeah. I tried working in Studio with a touchpad, but I also never liked it.
Yeah, it's just not. And now, it's just like that. It makes perfect sense as to why I have one. Because I could have just
it's
hit that
funny.
little volleyball in the middle.
Yeah.
All of the treats.
It's funny because I'm usually someone who likes working with the trackpad of the laptop, and I would sit on my sofa for hours just with my laptop using the trackpad and not using any mouse at all. But when it comes to working with Studio, I always take the laptop to my desktop, to my desk, and also plug in the monitor and plug in a mouse or use a Bluetooth mouse, whatever. But yeah, without a mouse, it's really.
I don't know
I've
why.
heard there are people who like it, but it's not for me without a mouse.
I don't know why I didn't ask all of these things like a year ago or do all these things like a year ago. Can you please repeat what UV degradation stands for? Isn't that?
If you leave Lego pieces exposed to sunlight or UV light, then the texture or the color
So it
might
does that?
change.
It does that? Does fading?
I think so, yeah.
That's what. Does Peter know
And
this?
yeah, I don't know. And you can select how strong you want this effect to be. You can put a minimum and a maximum, whatever those numbers mean in detail. I have never played around with those a lot because I want my renders to be shiny and not degraded.
Right.
But if you want to have this rougher effect maybe, yeah, then go for it. And let's also check out what the scratches effect looks like. Again, here for comparison, this is the image without any effects added to it. And then this is what it looks like with the scratches. Again, I'm not sure if it shows on the camera. Can you see it?
Yeah. Ori, be right back. My entire page ready. You got Adnan going over to rendering some round bricks. You got Ori going and rendering his entire oeuvre. Um, like Ori, I seriously, I can now see how you've done all of what you've done. Oh man, it's amazing. It's awesome. I love it. This has opened up so much. Like I seriously, if Peter gets a hold, I mean, he's definitely more tactile, equally good. If he gets a
Yeah.
hold, if he figures out the UV degradation and gets real comfortable with the computer, we're all in trouble.
Yeah, but he has done a lot of digital builds in the past, right?
Yeah, he has, but he definitely likes to do it more on the physical thing. But if he starts, you know, real digital on us, he's gonna build the biggest castles in the world.
Yeah, his physical castles are that big already.
Yeah, well, man, have you seen that one where he's just like sitting next to it like it's his own like Great Dane?
Oh yeah, I always love those pictures. No matter from which creator, but whenever you have the creation and the creator right next to each other, those are my favorite
Yeah.
pictures. Maybe I should do some of those as well.
You
I
should.
have never posted my face actually.
Well, everyone has they go. Well, I should say everyone. So many people have themes with their pages, and they like to keep it crisp and clean. And I get it. You know, I don't care. If you go to my page is all over the place.
So see, you're not scared to post your face on your page.
I don't post my face much on mine at all. I think maybe 2 or 3 times. I think I have.
Yeah, maybe I think I've seen you in the stories more probably than in your
Yeah,
posts.
I'll do it in the story. I don't like to post it.
I really like that one picture where you were at the mall in your Lego shirt. I think that was cool.
Yeah. Oh gosh, what we were talking about earlier about seeing ourselves and listening to ourselves. That's why I don't post those things. I see it pops up every once in a while. I'll get a random like on that thing, and I'm like, oh crap, that's still up there.
All right. What else should we take a look at? Let's check back with the studio settings, what we already covered. We covered basically the camera setup, we covered the background and light settings, and we covered the material effects. Yeah, then let me check back here.
Oh, by the way, this is Matthias down here. That's his computer, anyways. And that's his page, MB Mox. You should hit that. It drops down, and then hit follow. Actually, if I do that? So, oh yeah, boom. Follow. Oh, I can remove you. Whoa, I can totally boot you from a video. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you're the host, right?
I didn't realize that was an option to boot someone. I guess that makes sense.
Okay. I just remembered one thing that might be interesting to talk about regarding or back to the camera settings, and it's the field of view setting. So if you're familiar with photography, you probably know what the field of view is.
Is that like depth of field kind of deal?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And you can use this to create the effect of objects being closer or further away from the camera, right?
Yes.
Basically. And I have used this at some times to do some digital trickery, let's call it. If we take a look at, here again, my second to last build for the Tiny Masters, this one here, where the theme was Kaiju Attack, and I built this giant monkey from Dragon Ball attacking the tournament arena.
Now that was a theme for Tiny Masters was Kaiju Attack.
Yeah, exactly. Kaiju Attack was the
So
theme for this one.
Awesome, I love it.
And what I did is I already had the tournament arena built, so it's basically I took this one as the starting point, I wanted to use this tournament arena and have it attacked by the giant monkey here. And what I did is I started designing the monkey, and I started with the face, and I decided, okay, I want to use these pieces for the teeth, and so that basically defined the scale for the whole creature. And I knew that the scale of the creature and the scale of the buildings and the arena and the surroundings didn't quite match up. The creature was a bit too big, or yeah, the scale was different. Yes, so the creature was too big, or the architecture model was a bit on the smaller side. And so to make this picture work, I used the what I mentioned before here, what was it
Alexander.
called? Field of view? Yeah, field of view setting. And let me show you what I did. If we take a look at the scene
Now,
in
did you
Studio.
brick build that monkey as well? I don't remember seeing that.
No, not in physical form yet.
Okay, but
Only
you did do
digitally.
the dojo area. Did you do that?
Yeah, the dojo area. That one I have in my shelf.
Yeah, in your
Exactly.
IKEA.
Yeah, yeah. Almost all here in my apartment is from IKEA. Okay, so if we take a look at the scene here, you can already see that the monkey is indeed pretty huge. And so what I did is, if I go to the render settings here, and now if I leave it at the default settings and I try to get everything here in the view, I would probably have to go something like this. And yeah, you could see that the monkey is towering over the building, and I wouldn't even get the fist into the screen anymore unless I move the angle up pretty drastically. But if I still have the settings saved, I mentioned before I save my camera settings. So if I go back to this here, you
Wait,
can see that
hold on. What did you just pull down there?
it's this drop down here where you can store your camera settings. The same thing you also have
That's
up
how.
here for the light settings. And yeah, when I am building something, I always store my settings in case I want to get back or come back later and make another render. I store my camera settings so I can restore them at a later
Oh,
point.
whoa, that's a lot. Yeah, custom settings. That's a lot.
Exactly, yeah.
And Alexander makes a great point. It's always awesome to be able to repurpose a previous mock for a new upcoming mock.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, that's true. Okay, and so you can see what I did here is I changed the field of view to 70, and the default value is 15. So that's a very drastic change, actually. Let me. I will leave now the camera angle at the same angle and change back only the field of view to the default value. And I have to zoom out then here, and you would see, yeah, that it doesn't match up anymore at all. So this is something you can play around with. If
right.
the goal I had here is I wanted to create the illusion that the monkey is smaller and the foreground is bigger. So I increased the field of view to achieve this effect. And if I change it,
So you're at
back to
what
the
on?
setting
You're
here.
on 17 field of view. You
I'm
say?
on 70 here. 70, 7 times 10
Oh,
instead
7D.
of,
Gotcha,
yeah,
7.
70
Gotcha. Okay, that's a big
instead of
difference.
15. Yeah.
That's a big that. Okay, that makes a big difference.
So how much difference is that? Five times? Not
From where I.
almost 5 times. 15 is the default value.
Right. I thought you said 17. That seems weird. That's a
Yeah,
random
15
number.
to
Okay.
70. So it's almost 5 times the default value. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's something you can use if you want to play
And
around. One,
that's what stretches your depth of field.
yeah, exactly. So
If,
the things in the back appear smaller, the things in
right.
the foreground appear bigger. I'm not an expert on those things and photography, but yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
my
again.
basic understanding of it.
It's a major tenet for filming, for photography, for
Yeah, exactly.
cinematography, of course. If you master depth of field, you pretty much master
Oh
um,
yeah.
your craft in a very nice way.
And I can show you one other build where I've used this. I'm not sure you will recognize it if I open it up in Studio, and it takes a long time to load because it's a big one. I don't know if you recognize this, John.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. So I use the same trick here because yeah, we had this. Um, it was again for the Tiny Masters contest, and
Hmm.
the theme was forced perspective.
Hmm.
And so let me just show the whole scene first. I have built up this archway in the front, then some trees in between, then this floating island in the middle, and then in the background you have just the skyline here and two tiny floating islands in the back. And let me also show you what the result looks like. This is it. So here, this is what the final rendering looked like. Oops, so there we go. So you can see here you have this archway, then the trees, the floating island, and the skyline in the back.
So beautiful.
And yeah, here again, if you what I usually just do is I try to find a camera angle I like. I play around with the field of view until I just get to an image that where I like how it looks. It's very non-scientific. It's just playing around, finding a setting I like, and then I stick with it.
Right. You- I think what's amazing about this build that people aren't probably seeing here is this. I can't do it with my shoulder, but can you see? It is standing up. Like, can you see the transparent pegs?
I can also zoom in a little bit here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
and this one should be buildable in real life. I still intend to at least build this floating island in the middle at some point in real
mhm.
life as well, because this should be stable enough.
How many pieces in that?
The whole thing, let me check. I don't think it makes much sense to take a look at the whole thing, but just for
Well, just the
uh,
floating.
for
Yeah.
just for bricks and giggles, the whole thing has 16,000 parts, but most of those go into the floor. If we just take the floor, maybe
What's
that's
up,
also
Lewis?
interesting. 16,000, the whole thing.
Of the Nutwood Lewis's?
Sorry?
I said, "What's up, Lewis?" Of the Nutwood Lewis's.
Oh, hey, Luis is here. Hello. Okay, and yeah, of those 16,000 bricks in total, there's 13,000 going just into this tiled floor. So that leaves the rest with a bit over 3,000 pieces, just to give you a perspective.
You put 13,000 pieces into the floor?
Yeah, yeah, but the good thing with digital building is you can for irregular structures like this flooring here, you can build up some substructures and copy and paste them around. And since it's also irregular, it yeah no one will recognize it. That I still built up probably one or two whole of those rows and then took pieces of those and pasted them around to yeah, finalize the other rows of the flooring. But
That's
yeah, in the
insane.
end, it's just a lot of pieces just for the floor. And yeah, of course, the reason is that the floor goes so far back also, because if we take a look at the picture again, so um,
Sorry, Ori.
the
Ori
the
says,
the
"Get the
the
pieces for the floor only. Screw the floating tower."
yeah, if I build this in real life, I won't build this whole thing, of course. I will maybe take a small section of the flooring, make a nice base around it, and put the floating island in the center on top of it. Maybe add one or two of those trees. I'm
Yeah.
not even sure if I'll add the skyline in the back. It might, if it works out, then I will. But this is something where, of course, this build was created specifically to recreate this image. So this is the image that I wanted to recreate.
Right.
It's a painting from the game Magic the Gathering. And yeah, the goal was to approximate this image as close as possible in the Lego brick. So yeah, you can of course see this also in the digital model, that everything I built was done specifically to recreate this. And
Yeah.
if I would want to build this now in real life and also make it look nice on a shelf, I would have to make a lot of adaptations, change the
Lewis,
perspectives, change the
when the,
distances.
the was part of the force perspective. Were you going up against? Was it the Tower, Lord of the Rings
in
things.
the first perspective build who my opponent was.
Was that Martine?
Let me
Martin.
think. No, Martin was my opponent in the final stage,
Who?
final. And for the first perspective, I was up against KK Bricks,
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. That's
Chris.
right.
Hmm.
Um, who was the one that did the towers? The Lord of the Rings.
I don't know what's it called, but where they're going in the middle with on boat on the river. That's what
Right.
you mean, right?
Yeah, that was the fourth
Um,
perspective one.
yeah, I should know this. I'm just so bad with remembering names, and it's always embarrassing me. Uh,
Lewis
I
is going to be a difficult time about saying the word Matthias that I'm so eloquent at saying.
yeah, you've mastered it. You're better at it than me saying asteroid, whatever.
Thanks, Lewis.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. That's everything I can show you regarding the field of view. Um, some other things that we could take a look at. I don't know if we have more time. I see it's already over an hour again, John. Two things that we could take a look at in a bit more detail if we still want to is one would be something how to
Nailed
create
it.
something like this, how to create an animation like that from
Ooh.
Studio.
Yeah.
So we could take a quick look at that. And we also could take a quick look at how we can achieve this lighting look that I used for the Polar Express, what you need to do, which pieces you need to use, or which colors you need to use. Okay, this doesn't load, but I still have it open here. So if you want to achieve an effect like this with the lighting in the rendered image, those two topics is something we could still take a look at. But yeah, you have to decide, John, if we still want to go further.
Oh, it's up to you. I mean, what do you got? What do you have planned for our next episode? Is that something that you want to travel down with that, or?
The initial plan would have been for the next episode to talk about creation of instructions and
Oh,
tutorials.
right. That's right. So yeah, I would like to know the at least the video.
Let's take a look at that because it's not that difficult once you know how to do it. So we can take a look.
And now,
And
with that being said, with those rendered videos or with the videos, you see some of the ones where it's like placing the pieces down and to a build,
yes,
or whatever.
yes,
Is that how
exactly.
you do this
And
as well?
you can do this as well, yes. Let me show you again. Let's open the render settings again. Let's
I-
go back to the
It's
default setting
such a
here.
cheap trick, but it works.
And so if you take a look at the options you have on the right side in the menu here again, you have three tabs that you can select. The first one is the Photoreal Rendering.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second one is the POV rendering.
Oh,
Um, I never use that one because I think that's basically the same rendering it uses for the real-time rendering when you are building. I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely doesn't look as good as the photoreal rendering. So I haven't played around with that at all yet.
mm-hmm.
But then the third option you have here is the animation. And this is exactly where you can do these two things. Also what you just mentioned. There's two different effects that you can choose from. The first one is called building sequence. That's what you just mentioned, John, where the pieces come falling down and build up the whole model. And
Right.
the second one is called revolve, which gives it this spinning motion. And you can even combine those two. So if you select both of them, you will have the model spinning and building up as it goes.
And a heads up, if you scroll down, there's more still. Just a heads up, everyone.
Yeah, of course, there's the same settings as before. You again have the render quality. That's exactly the same like before. The background options again. The only difference here that I can tell is you cannot create an animation with a transparent background. So that's why when you take a look
Oh,
here, this one has the solid background. You also see the shadows on the floor. And for my other post here, for example, you can see it has again this gradient background. That's been rendered with the transparent background, and I added the gradient afterwards. And the animation has been rendered with a solid background.
right. Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
because
So easy.
it's really easy. And what you can also select at the very top is the frame rate. And I think I usually left it at the default setting of 24 frames because, as I mentioned before, my computer is not the fastest. And if I am rendering 24 frames at the best quality, maybe I should have also just went down from very high to high or even medium. But of course, I wanted to have the very high option, and
Right.
then it's running the whole night to create those frames because you can also select how long the animation should be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And and for the rotation, you can also select how long it will take for one whole rotation. And I think the default setting for both is that the animation will be 4 seconds long and
Yeah.
that one rotation also takes 4 seconds. So the whole animation, when it's finished, will be one whole rotation, which takes 4 seconds. Then the video is over. And if you have 24 frames per second at 4 seconds length, this will be, I'm bad at math in my head,
96.
24. You're faster than me, so almost 100 frames. And yeah, with my computer and on the high quality setting, this will take me a whole night to render one such short animation. But again, of course, you can decrease this duration if you go for a lower quality setting, for example. But it's really easy. You just yeah, select your camera
24.
angle again.
If I'm not mistaken, 24 frames is what they use for filming anyway. So
Yeah, I think so. I
pretty.
think so. You could go higher. You could go to 30 or 60 frames per second, but yeah, I think it's fine. It's 24 is it's not
Yeah.
noticeable, I think.
Love it.
Yeah, so yeah, that's really easy. There's not even very much more I can say about it because all the other settings are the same again, like before. You
Right.
have the start logo setting, the UV degradation, the scratches again,
I
the
can't believe
same camera settings.
that's. I didn't know that. I didn't know.
So there's not much magic to it. You just select your camera angle. You say whether you want the
Like,
revolving motion or the building up. What's it called? The building
yeah, where
sequence.
the brick falling down effect.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
just select which one of those you want to have, how long you want it to take, and then add it to your render queue and be prepared that it might take a while.
Yeah. I've heard 20 hours people waiting on renders for certain things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends on how high quality, what your piece count is, how big.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
And if you want, I can just show you one quick trick for this light setting because it's
Yeah.
actually also not that difficult. You just have to select the correct colors.
Yeah.
So that will take another 5 minutes probably, and then we managed to cover everything that I had planned, I think.
I love how you say there's not much magic involved, but when in reality it's all magic.
Yeah, I mean, under the hood, it's a lot of magic, of course, but from the person who controls everything, from the user perspective, it's not that difficult.
Right.
So if we take a look here at my Polar Express build, and if we take a look at the final image again, you can see here we have these light effects. So the windows, the train windows, and the lights in the tree all appear like they are emitting light, and that's because when the image is rendered or the rendering is calculated, those bricks actually do emit light.
Right.
And you can also see it in the reflection here, for example. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
so if you want to achieve an effect like this, the first thing that I think is that this again, I'm not 100% sure anymore. It's been some time since I did this, but I think I didn't manage to get it to work with the transparent background. So I used the solid background for this one again.
Hey, Anthony.
There might be a way to make it work with the transparent background as well, but yeah, I only managed to get it to work with the solid background here.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. Use the solid background if it doesn't work with the transparent one. And then there's really only one thing you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go, for example, to the train windows here and then check the color here in the color palette selection. And there are these, if you scroll down to the very bottom of the menu, you have these luminous or
Oh,
glowing neon
yeah.
colors.
Yeah, that's right.
So
And you
they are called either luminous or glowing. And if you select any of those,
bricks.
then you will get this effect during the rendering. Of
Yeah.
course, one tip that I can give you is I would turn down the light intensity during the rendering so that you don't have as much light from the rendering itself and more of the light is emitted by these light emitting bricks instead.
So it doesn't wash it out.
Yeah, you get a stronger effect, of course. If the rest of the image is darker, then these light effects will pop more.
That's right. I forgot. Rick walked me down bricks on Sunday. The
And
the luminescent brick. There.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's really just that. Choose these luminous or glowing colors. And then one thing that I mentioned during last episode, if you remember, we have this color validator that
Hmm.
gives you a warning whenever you use a color that's not available for a brick. You might get a lot of these errors, but since this is a purely digital creation that's built for the rendering, anyways, I ignore these and I don't even know why they are here because you can really use any brick you like in any of those luminous colors and it will
Right.
always work. But for some reason, Studio says that some pieces are only available in this luminous color and other bricks are available in this other luminous color and this brick is not available in this luminous color. I don't understand why, because those are render only colors. So you can use any brick in any of those render colors. It will always work. So I don't know why you're even getting these errors. I ignore them and I've not had any issues with it.
Anthony said he's gonna take off, but he's gonna message you.
Sorry?
Anthony Bill's bricks says he's got to take off, but he's gonna message.
All right.
I'm moderating the message, the comments, bro.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much, John. Yeah,
So now, say if you go to throw that into Bricklink, do they order you like 75 light bricks?
yeah, I have no clue. I think it will get a lot of errors probably if you
That'd be
load up
awesome. Just end up with a
those
pack
luminous
full of
color
light.
bricks. Yeah, that would be fun. You'll
That's
probably have to switch it out for existing colors again before
yeah.
uploading.
No, that's great. Knowing about those luminous ones, that really it changes it quite a bit because for those of us that do like to add lights to our build or the light bricks, so on and so forth. So, what was that noise? Weird. Oh, that's your chair. I was coming from out here. I was like, what is that noise out there? I was like, a whale. They don't come in this close.
So what was it?
It was your chair, I think, backing up.
Yeah, that could be.
I'm out by the ocean, but I was like, that sounds like a whale.
I'm not a whale, John. I might have gained a few pounds since the Corona pandemic started, but I'm not a whale yet.
Awesome, man. I tell you, even this one, I'm gonna have to go back and watch again because there are things that I didn't write things down. I was going through it as you went through it, and I'm gonna have to go through it again and write things down. And I'm gonna go through the first 2 episodes too because like what you've done there, the render, obviously I'm not gonna get to until I get to the end. Take it easy. What's up, Jacob? So long. Yeah, but the other 2 are going to help me get through my process. Like I've already gleaned a couple aspects of what you've taught me to do this, and of course Adnan walked me through it as well. But now when I get to the point of where I have to, finish the build and everything, I feel so much more comfortable doing it now.
Yeah, and feel free to message me anytime you've got any questions, John, of course.
I don't think I'm shy about that. I don't think I'm ever shy about messaging you.
Perfect. That awesome. Goes for anyone else as well, of course. If you've got any questions, if I can help, then I will be glad to.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I look forward to going over instructions with you next week. That's really that's something that I'm learning a little bit about right now myself too. So I'm very excited to learn more about it.
Yeah, I think the next one will also be more improvised again, like today.
Well, you say improvised. I love how the Austrian improvised. Yes. Love it. It's way more structured than an American improvised.
Yeah, I didn't have slides today.
That's the one difference. You didn't have a slideshow. Awesome. Hey, thank you, Orion. Thank you, Jacob, and thank you, everyone. Oh, we got awesome. Saskia. I don't. Saskia Lego Mesh. Says cool. Thanks. Hi. I don't know who that is, but hello. I'm sure I'm butchering your name. But thank you once again, Matthias. I really appreciate it, man. And maybe next week we can pull down a couple of those builds off that those IKEA shelves and show them off.
Sure, if you want.
That'd be awesome. I know that people here would love to see them. So,
Yeah.
and I of course would any chance I get to see the wobble. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, my pleasure. And then for the, it's not called Brick Fair. It's called
The Brick Bazaar.
Brick Bazaar, exactly that one. So yeah, I might be able to pull some of the models out of the shelf for that as well. And as I said, I'll try to come up with a new one until then.
I'm always excited to see what you got coming up, buddy. I'm always curious what you got going on. I'm like, you stay silent about your builds, your page stays silent. But of course, we chat all the time, and I know that you're doing stuff. I know that you're doing stuff.
You know, it's so hard, John. I have been building and designing so much over the last couple of weeks, but I'm still waiting for all the brick orders I made in December. On the 18th of December, I made the first one. It's been 6 weeks now, and it still hasn't been shipped. So I'm sitting on needles because I've got all of those designs that I want to put out into the world, but I don't got the bricks yet.
Are they Bricklink orders?
No official Lego bricks and pieces.
What?
Yeah, I contacted them. They told me they have currently about 4 weeks delay because of the holidays and because of the COVID measures they had to take. But the good thing is they gifted me VIP points worth of 25 euros for my long waiting time.
That's very strange because I've ordered from Lego between that time and now, and I've received stuff, man.
Yeah, I think it's different in Europe, probably.
They're literally like in the same continent. So strange. I mean, I guess of course it's a matter of where they're producing them because they're not clearly Denmark per se, but still, that just seems so strange that Europe has such a hard time. Like, of course, you're not the only one. There's so many saying that they're having 8 weeks, whatever backups, and it's like, what is going on? So, I mean, of course, yeah, we still have a worldwide pandemic going on. I imagine that is putting a crinkle in just about everyone's plans. So,
yeah, as long as just about that, it's not a big issue.
Yeah. Oof. Oh boy. Well, I look forward to seeing what you got coming up, sir. And I certainly look forward to our next episode. Yes, Corona is crippling us all still. Jeez, boy, vey. 2 years later, here we are. But yeah.
I wanted to say I really enjoy that we get to do this here, John, even though you're on the other edge of the world, basically, and we can still have these live chats here.
I love it, man. It's so great.
That's
You're
awesome.
a good buddy, and I really appreciate you.
You too.
All right, bud. I will see you next week, and I'm sure I will chat with you here very shortly.
Have a great week, and see you, John.
All right. Take it easy, buddy.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye, Matthias. Everybody, that is another great episode with Matthias there. He walked us through his studio, man. I feel so much more comfortable every time I chat with him about studio because clearly he knows what he's doing. Adnan as well. These guys, they help me out so much with whether these episodes or whether I'm messaging them. Thank you, Jada. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Whether I'm messaging them at like 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm working on an insane build. So, yes, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. That was yet another episode of Don't Start the Lego Technique. Tomorrow morning, we got another one coming in at 4 a.m. my time, Pacific, 7 a.m. Ooh, he is a great guy. 7 a.m. Eastern, but that is also 10 p.m., I think, 11 p.m. Australia, because we're going to Australia. We're gonna chat with Fleur. She's gonna chat with us about Wild Wild West of all things. We're gonna go Wild Wild West. We're going to Australia to go Wild Wild West. Awesome. She posted about it. It's really cool. We're gonna get into some details with some saloon work, double doors, all that jazz. It's gonna be lots of fun, and Fleur's always a fantastic time. So we look forward to seeing you there. And as always, thanks. It's awesome. I love doing this. If you're having a rough day and you come and chat about Lego for a little bit, can always put a smile on your face, right? So thank you everyone for hanging out, and thanks for sticking around for the episodes. There's a lot to glean from these things, and you know, you take out my commentary, you learn a lot. So once again, thanks. It means a lot. She's awesome. Yeah, she is awesome. Yeah, and that's why we do the repost. So that everyone can watch them. And I need to repost some more from series 1 because people have asked me about those. So I'll get on to reposting some of those. And you can always go back on our page on Back to Brick to find the old Don't Sweat the Lego Technique. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate it. Check out the series 1 episodes, which were great. And then, of course, all the series 2 episodes. And then we have all of our Talking Brick ones there, too. So, yes, until tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. my time, 7 a.m. Eastern, and wherever it is your time. Don't sweat that Lego Technique.